Money isn't what it used to be, and it's about to change again. For centuries, money wasn't this paper, it was actually physical gold. It was coins, it was bars that people would carry around. But carrying around physical metal wasn't very easy, and that was when this paper money got created, but this paper money was backed by physical gold. So if you had a $100 bill in your hand, it was backed by $100 of physical gold. But then that changed again in 1971, because then President Richard Nixon decided to take the dollar off of the gold standard, which meant that now our paper money was just pieces of paper. It wasn't backed by gold, it wasn't backed by any other metal, it's just backed by a promise that this paper has money because the government is backing it. Well, now it looks like our money could be changing again, because as our economy is changing, the way that we power our economy is changing, and the next form of currency might not be gold or oil or even cryptocurrency. It'll be energy. Our global economy is changing every single day as people become more advanced with AI, as robots become more expensive. But in order to power all of this new technology, we need more energy because AI uses so much more energy than the regular internet. And every major superpower in the world, China, the United States, is working to be the world's leader in AI because whoever is the world's leader in AI is going to be the next generation's world's economic superpower. But in order for any of that to work, every country is going to need more power to be able to fuel all this new technology. This is why President Trump recently signed an executive order to quadruple the amount of nuclear power that we're producing here in the United States. And as the United States, China, and Russia are competing to get more of this new currency, energy is going to shift where investment opportunities are moving. So let me break it all down. Let's start by taking a look at history, because while history doesn't exactly repeat itself, it does rhyme. For the last 50 or so years, our money hasn't been backed by anything. But there was an energy that was kind of backing the dollar, and that energy was oil. This is through what's called the petrodollar, because in 1974, the United States built an agreement with Saudi Arabia, which essentially said that all oil around the world has to be bought and sold with the United States dollar, because for the last 50 or so years, oil was the energy powering our economy and also our currency. Today, we still need more oil. In fact, we need more oil than ever before. But the energy types we need is also changing because of the new technologies with AI and the implications of AI in the economy. AI is going to revolutionize the way people work. It's going to revolutionize the economy. How do I know this? Well, I'll give you a personal story. I used to run a company called Briefs Media. You might have heard me talk about it for many years on YouTube. Well, last year in 2025, when I started to see how AI was changing the economy, I had an all-hands meeting with my company, and I said, we are about to go bankrupt because of AI. True story. And I said, if we want to keep our jobs, we're going to have to shift. So we went from just a media company to now a financial technology company. Now we're called Briefs Finance, because we wouldn't be able to compete against AI as just a media company. So we had to shift. Now we still produce our media products, but we also now produce so many cool tech products for investors. It took us a long time, a lot of money, and a lot of kind of changes we had to make in the company, but we had to make the change because of AI, because now I'm seeing over the last 12 months how much AI has gotten smarter, especially in the media space. If we did not shift, we would be struggling right now. Well, it's going to continue accelerating over the next 12, 24, 36, 48 months. And as AI continues to get smarter, it's going to change the way that our economy works. And it's not just companies that are competing, it's also countries. Because the United States right now is on top globally. But there's a lot of countries like China and Russia that are working to compete against the United States, not just militarily, but also economically. And now there is an opportunity. AI is a whole new technology that's going to allow not just companies to leapfrog and grow very fast, but also countries have the opportunity to be able to grow and accelerate if they can be the leader in AI. Because AI is not just going to create new millionaires, it's going to create new billionaires, it's also going to create new trillionaires, and the companies and the countries that can control it are going to be able to control the next generation of wealth. That's why so many countries are competing, that's why so many companies are competing, and the thing that powers all of this economy is our energy. That's why so many people now believe that energy is the currency of the future. And this is where people have to be creative. The CEO of Google essentially said that we are going to need to double our nuclear energy here in the United States over the next 3 to 5 years. Now, nuclear energy was kind of something that people forgot about. But now it's coming back, and it's coming back very strong. And so we're seeing two different things happen in the United States. The first thing that's happening is the government is getting involved. Like I talked about, President Trump has signed a new executive order working to quadruple the amount of nuclear energy here in the United States in the coming years. But that's not all. The biggest tech companies in the world, Google, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, are now adding in an energy division to their industries because now they are going out themselves and building their own and buying their own nuclear facilities because they're saying, we're building all this AI. We can't wait for the government or energy companies to produce the energy for us. So we, the tech companies, are now going to become energy companies. And how are they doing it? Through nuclear energy. Now, this is where things really start to get interesting because I told you that it's not just companies competing against each other, it's also countries. Well, China has also been aggressively working to increase their nuclear energy supply. And right now, China is investing even more into nuclear, and it's estimated that China is going to be able to produce more nuclear energy than the United States by 2030. This is the exact situation that President Trump wants to avoid because President Trump has been working to fight China directly without actually fighting them with weapons. The way that President Trump has been fighting China has been by cutting off their energy supply and cutting off their money supply. When President Trump passed tariffs, do you know which country was hit extremely hard by tariffs? China. Why? Because China has been working to produce a lot of products for the United States. A lot of companies in the US produce their stuff in China. Well, President Trump said, we're not going to make it so cheap for you to do that anymore, forcing companies to move out of China to hurt the Chinese economy. Then President Trump attacked the president of Venezuela. Why did he do that? Well, Venezuela was one of the biggest suppliers of oil to China. That way, China couldn't keep getting their cheap oil from Venezuela. Then President Trump went in and attacked Iran. Why did he do that? Well, one of the reasons was that Iran is also one of the biggest suppliers of cheap oil to China. Now it's not. So President Trump has been working to fight China by cutting off some of their money supply from businesses in the United States, but also cutting off their oil supply. And now China has been working to build their own nuclear supply because they need that nuclear to be able to power their AI, to be able to power their data centers, because China wants to beat the United States when it comes to AI, because that could be their ticket to being the next world superpower. Now, this is where countries are essentially having to pick allies, because we're seeing groups of countries that are now coming together, agreeing that they're going to work together to produce more nuclear energy. Why? As a way to kind of band together and say, hey, we would like us to be the superpowers of the world, not China and China's allies. And now we're also starting to see companies get involved where the big companies like Google and Amazon and Meta are also signing those same agreements that countries are signing because these tech companies are becoming that powerful. Now let me explain why this matters for you, because it does, and there is a cost to you, but I also want to remind you that this is going to create new investment opportunities. And I've already put together a free investing masterclass where I'll walk you through how you can take advantage of economic shifts that are happening right now and how they can create opportunities for you to invest your money. It's a free masterclass. If you haven't signed up for it yet, you're also going to get access to Market Briefs, which is my newsletter for investors, completely free. So if you haven't signed up for the masterclass and Market Briefs yet, I have that link for you down in the description below. Now, the first reason why this matters for you is that because of all the new advancement in AI and technology and data centers, we need more energy, which is putting a lot of pressure on our current energy grid. Essentially what that means is we have all this demand for energy, but we have a limited supply of energy that we can produce right now. So you need energy as well. You want to keep the heat on in your house, you want to keep the AC on in your house, you want to keep the lights on in your house. You're also competing for the same energy that now the data centers are competing for. And when there's more demand than supply, well, basic economics tells you when you have more buyers and sellers, the price of something goes up. And so this is one of the reasons why many people are going to be seeing or have seen or should expect higher energy prices now and coming in the future. The idea being until we have more supply of energy than what we need, it's going to be very hard to bring energy prices down. But as an investor, if you believe that energy is going to be the new currency, well, you can invest and own a piece of that currency as well. Now I'm going to go over some specific examples. I'm not telling you what to invest in because number one, investing has risks. You are never guaranteed to make money when you invest. In fact, you will lose money at some point. So make sure you always do your own due diligence and never blindly trust a random guy on YouTube. And number two is I'm not a financial advisor. I'm here to just help you start thinking like an investor. So let me go over some examples if this was something that you're interested in, different ways you can think about investing. Example number one is GRID. This is an ETF that's giving you exposure to the energy grid here in the United States. The idea being, if we're continuing to build a new clean energy grid, this ETF gives you exposure to the companies that would benefit from that shift. Example number two is NLR. This is an ETF created by Van Eck that's giving you exposure to the uranium and nuclear ETF, giving you broad exposure to utilities companies and the reactors companies and the whole fuel chain, giving exposure to that nuclear industry. Example number three is URA. This is an ETF giving exposure to the fuel behind the nuclear boom. Uranium is what you need to power these nuclear facilities, and this ETF is giving exposure to the uranium miners and the physical uranium itself. So this URA gives you exposure to the fuel behind nuclear energy, NLR gives you exposure to the nuclear energy businesses themselves, and GRID gives you exposure to the power grid. Again, there's multiple ETFs out there, but this gives you an idea of different ways that you can start thinking like an investor. When I first started learning about money management, I avoided using a credit card because I thought that credit cards are bad and evil. And then when I realized that I knew how to spend my money and I wasn't going to spend money I didn't have for credit card perks and points, I realized that I could earn more cash back. I could earn more perks and points for doing nothing except making the transactions that I would normally make anyways with a credit card instead of a debit card. And that's why I partnered with my sponsor Finance Buzz to put together an article of some of my favorite credit cards. Now here's the caveat. If you don't know how to manage your money, don't use a credit card. But if you're comfortable using a credit card, in this article with my sponsor Finance Buzz, I go over some of my top credit cards based off of different types of tiers. If you have credit card debt and you want to pay it off faster, I go over some of the top 0% APR credit cards. This will give you an opportunity to attack the credit card debt faster while not accruing any interest during the 0% APR period. I go over some of my favorite cashback credit cards. That way you can earn more points and cash back while you spend on your normal transactions. I go over some of my favorite travel cards for those of you that are traveling more often and earning more income. And then I go over some of my favorite business credit cards as well. So if you know how to manage your money and you're comfortable using your credit card, you can see some of my top credit cards right now in the free article that I have for you down in the description. So what we talked about in this video is that the currency of the future looks like it might be changing. In the past, it was just physical gold. Then it was dollars backed by physical gold. Then it was just paper dollars, and then it was dollars backed by oil, the petrodollar. Well, now it looks like that could be changing again because countries and companies around the world are looking to win in this AI race. And if we focus just in on the countryside, this can create the opportunity for any country to be the next world's superpower. So we have countries like the United States, China, and Russia working to compete head-on to be the next world's superpower. But in order to be the AI superpower, you need the energy to actually power that AI and to power those data centers. And we just don't have that. This is where countries are now aggressively working to win in this energy race. And one way they're doing that is by ramping up their power grids. The other way is by ramping up their nuclear energy production. And this is where not only are we seeing countries get involved, but we're also seeing companies get involved. Some of the biggest tech companies in the world are now entering the energy game by working to produce and build their own nuclear facilities. This is going to change the way that our economy works because these countries and companies need the nuclear energy. They need the energy in general to produce the AI. And if AI is going to change the way that our economy works, we're going to need more of this nuclear energy and more just energy grids. Now, this has a cost to regular people because until we have more energy, until we have more supply than demand, it looks like energy costs are going to go up, which is something you're going to have to pay for. But that's also going to create opportunity for investors. If you believe that this is going to create opportunity for you, well, there's a few different ways to play it. Again, I'm not telling you what to invest in. I'm showing you how you can start thinking like an investor. We talked about ways that you can invest in the power grid in the United States. We talked about ways how to invest in the nuclear energy space. And then we talked about how you can invest in the uranium, the fuel behind the nuclear energy as well, with different ETFs. Again, I'm not here to tell you what to invest in. My goal is to show you how you can start thinking like an investor. With that, if you got value out of this video, the best thank you is a referral. So if you could, please share this video with a friend, family member, colleague, or fellow investor. That way we can continue to spread this type of financial education. Thank you. The United States government is approaching $40 trillion of national debt. And while most people are worried about how much money the government is spending, there's a quiet shift happening with our money that most people are completely missing. I'll show you. In the past, when the United States government would spend money it didn't have, it would borrow money from countries like